back, everyone. Tonight, we're focusing on the latest power struggle between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, over the political control of the state, following the collapse of the peace deal facilitated by President Bola Tinubu and the efforts by the duo to strengthen their respective support bases in the state. Joining me for this conversation is Honorable Solomon Bob, representing Abua Odua and Awada East constituency in the House of Representatives. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Right. So a lot more has happened in the last 1 month in Rivers State. From Governor Fubara saying his gentility should not be taken for granted, to him inspecting the quarters of the state's lawmakers for alleged demolition, which he denied, to Minister Nyesom Wike saying he made a mistake choosing Governor Fubara as his successor and he would correct that wrong in due time. We also have Governor Fubara presenting his commissioner nominee to a 3-member House of Assembly. Rivers State Council chairpersons have also accused the governor of withholding money meant for local councils. In the last 48 hours or so, 4 more commissioners have resigned from the cabinet of the governor. What exactly is going on in your states?
Thank you. Your intro has captured quite a lot. I don't know where to even start, but it would have been appropriate for me to, let the public know the genesis of this whole crisis. I think it's appropriate to say that Governor Fubara, from the get-go, set out with bad faith. This tussle was primarily, as a matter of fact, it is primarily a tussle between himself and the House of Assembly. He fails to understand the dynamics of the relationship between a governor and the House of Assembly. He thought of them as maybe his hirelings or his employees. He doesn't understand that they have nearly co-equal powers with him. I've heard him say sometimes, basically extol the powers he has. But he doesn't understand that his powers are very limited in the Constitution. And he's not a ruler. He's merely a leader. Okay? And they cannot exercise demonstrate kind of out of control behavior or unparalleled power that a ruler can have over a kingdom. So these things started as a tussle between himself and the House of Assembly. Because I have information that, early on, he wanted to remove the leadership of the House of Assembly, the Speaker. That was how this whole power play started. It was not a fight between himself and Governor Wike. So people are ascribing the whole thing to Wike because of the fact that the lawmakers have failed to yield to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And that essentially is because of the attitude he has brought into governance. He hasn't shown any restraints. He hasn't shown any sort of respect for the lawmakers, for due process, for rule of law. Okay? So the attempt to change the House's leadership was what triggered what we are seeing in Rivers State. So it was a reaction of the lawmakers following his own action that led to the series of actions that culminated in the attempt to remove him. So all of this could have been averted if he had come into governance with good faith. Like I said, I have every reason to think that he set out with, from the get-go, from the beginning, with premeditated bad faith. Okay? And he tried first to remove the House Speaker, and then thereafter to go after the man who made him. What is shocking about this all is the purposiveness, the intentionality, okay, of his animosity towards the man who made him. I haven't seen anything. I've heard of governors, who fall out their predecessors all over the place. But nothing quite like this. Nothing quite like this. This is exceptional. It's extraordinary. It's outrageous. What is done in Rivers State over the last 1 year, it's unbelievable. To even talk about the wanton destruction of state property, the dissipation of state assets. How can a governor get up? A governor get up and mindlessly pull down an entire branch of government. That is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. So, and the fact that he has seemed to get away with it up till now is the reason why he's gone on to other acts, which you alluded to in your intro. For instance, going to case around the House of Assembly and making comments such as, to the effect that, okay, it's my property, and things like that. He doesn't understand the ethos, the principles of democracy. I think it's right to say that it's a stranger to democracy. Okay, he hasn't got to understand how we can bring about, work out a strategic workaround regarding those that you disagree. Politics is about disagreements. People in politics must necessarily disagree. Right. When we disagree, you work out, like I said, a strategic workaround to deal with the issues of disagreements. That is through engagement, communication. But he doesn't understand that his style is essentially confrontation, rooted in crudity. I have not anywhere in my whole life. I've been around quite a bit. Anything like this.
Honorable, before we go further, let me take you back to your earlier statements, because I must appreciate the fact that you're one of the very few persons who has taken it upon himself to tell us what exactly the bone of contention is. So, if this was not originally between Governor Fubara and Minister Wike, from what I heard from you, I hope I'm correct, you said this was originally between the governor and the lawmakers. Many would have expected Minister Wike to, help resolve this issue before it escalated. Why didn't that happen?
Well, to be honest with you, the governor himself had demonstrated acts of disrespect and total disregard for Wike, like I hinted earlier in my previous comments. Okay? As soon as he came in, he drove a wedge between himself and Wike. That is the fact. Okay? He made himself unreachable, unapproachable. Basically, I said he had the mentality of an emperor from the beginning. There was a particular instance, one for an entire day, leading to another day, nobody could reach him. Nobody could reach him. He came into office with the mentality that, okay, I am a law unto myself, and in fact I can be an outlaw. And you are seeing that in the actions he has exhibited in Rivers State over the last couple of months. And then there's no place anywhere in this country where that would have been tolerable. Okay, he's tapping into, unfortunately, Rivers State does not enjoy the ethnic homogeneity of states like Lagos and many other places. Okay, what is accused, not by himself, although recently he has begun to come out in his true elements and made some very caustic comments, including some profanity-induced or profanity-laced attacks and jibes at his predecessor. But he had used a lot of proxies to create an atmosphere of disinformation, very negative disinformation against Wike from the get-go, as a way to prepare the grounds to decimate him and then take over, become a new Lord of the Manor. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel personally embarrassed. I never thought that, after the dizzying heights of the predecessor's extraordinary performance, we will come to a place in our time in Rivers State where...
What is your relationship with both men? And as a federal lawmaker, how have you tried to, intervene in this battle that has lasted for more than 7 months?
Well, people know me for my candor. The point is, I have a very robust relationship with Wike, and I barely have anyone with Fubara, and that's because of him. Okay, I think he's very cold, he's very aloof, he basically projects two personas. He has a persona for the public, another one for people, his base outside the camera. At the initial stage, he tried to project himself as a dove publicly, but I know that behind the cameras, he was always backed or broad like a leopard or a lion. Okay, and recently, I'm sure some of you have begun to see some of what I'm referencing. But in all honesty, I never had a relationship with him. But I know those who are very close to him. I told them, look, if he's the father of the state, it was incumbent upon him to reach out, call people together, say, look, this is what is going on. How can we deal with this? How can we deal with this? I know many of my colleagues who try to reach him. He wouldn't even take their calls. So for me, it was pointless trying to reach out to a man like that. Like I said, he's very aloof. He's very aloof, and it seems he has an air of an all-knowing person. So I cannot stay here and say that, oh, Fubara is my friend. No, he's not my friend. He would have been my friend. First of all, I don't subscribe to persons who behave the way he's carried himself. No, I don't relate to anyone authority on the basis of sycophancy. No, everyone knows I'm not a sycophant. What will endear me to you is your commitment to values, certain values, basic values, principles. A sense of sincerity. He hasn't connoted himself as a man who is sincere, because if he was, we wouldn't be where we are, because the person who made him trusted him, took him from obscurity and brought him to prominence. Right. And then he's been extremely uncharitable towards River State. I won't speak about the man, Wike. River State, our infrastructure has been destroyed. He has created schism between people who were previously very harmonious, relating very well. And he has tapped, like I said, into the lack of homogeneity and tried to push, River State to the edge of the precipice on the lines, along the lines of tribe. It's crazy and unbelievable. It's sad.
Honorable Bob, I mean, you just said that.
Yes.
It's interesting. Yes. Yeah, you say the governor has two personalities, one for the camera and one for his close associates.
One for his base, yes. Outside the camera, yes.
Are you on the side of those who said perhaps Minister Wike misread Governor Fubara, and all of this happening is a reward for choosing loyalty over competence?
Well, the point about misjudging him is, of course, is correct. He has said so himself publicly recently. He said so himself. He said it was a mistake. And I don't think that he puts loyalty over anything else. He might also have seen some level of competence on his part, but maybe that one too is wrong, based on what we are seeing now. Because if you are a governor under a constitutional democracy, your oath is to the Constitution, and the most important ingredient, of democracy, which differentiates it from military rule, is respect for rule of law. Rule of law, that is the key. That's what differentiates from the military regime. As a matter of fact, it's not a brick and mortar thing. Under military regimes, we were building roads, building hospitals, but the most important benefit of democratic rule consists in the intangibles, things like freedom, rule of law, and associated or related precepts. So I think he's a stranger to those concepts. So that is my biggest grasp with him. It is his lack of understanding, application of those stuff, that led him to the point where he has made River State now an absurd ridicule. I mean, absurd spectacle nationally. It's absolutely embarrassing. Every day I go out, people look at me. I have friends from far and wide, and they look at me and they ask me, the things you're espousing, how come in your state what's going on is in the exact opposite? And I'm nonplussed. I don't know what to say. I couldn't imagine in my wildest dream that we'll come to a point where we have this specter of absurd governance in River State.
So, Honorable, I mean, when Minister Wike says he accepted that he had made a mistake and he will correct the wrong in due time, what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means what it says. I don't think there's any other spin I can put on it. What it means is that Governor Fubara will be given the time, the latitude of time it needs to govern and to see if he can take corrections. And my appeal to him is to pull back from the precipice to which he has pushed River State, and understand that we have become a laughingstock. We have become an embarrassment, not just to ourselves, but the entire country. And I don't know how long things can hold if they continue along this path. And like I said in my previous comments, I think he overestimates the power of a governor. A governor in Nigeria, I know the Constitution so well, inside out. A governor in Nigeria is essentially a hollowed out husk. Doesn't have as much power as you think it does. Okay, I know governors who have been chucked out, with the speed of, snap of the finger elsewhere in this country. He has many times, and it's not a big deal. He shouldn't overreach himself. He's done so many times, but he shouldn't push his luck too far, because people will tire out of this kind of chicanery. is unbecoming of somebody who holds such an exalted office.
You know, it was very important to ask you that question because just today, the governor says any politician who hurts his people will pay dearly for it. And it's also very interesting to see that Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has taken a side. In a unanimous decision, members and leaders of the party in Rivers State have pitched their tents for Nyesom Wike. First, are you surprised? And what does this mean for the PDP?
Excuse me.
At a time... Hold on,
okay.
Honorable. Especially at a time the state chapter of the APC is trying to get its ashes together. Are you not worried that this might strengthen the fold of the APC and ultimately weaken the PDP ahead of 2027?
Well, what I can tell you is the power base in Rivers State rests very strongly with the minister. It's crystal clear, okay? Whatever the governor says or whatever anybody reads into what's going on, the governor cannot come anywhere. There's no proximate level you can come to understanding the dynamics and the power control in Rivers State. He hasn't got the nous. It's not about bravado. Politics is not about bravado. It's about know-how. It's about gravitas. And I don't see those in him. So I know that he has a coterie of advisors, people who have essentially misled him to get into the hellhole he is now. But we have no fears, where I stand about the direction and trajectory we are traveling, because the minister's capability in politics is, well renowned beyond Rivers State borders. So we have no problems. The governor is the one that has a rethink to do. He has to think, ask himself questions. Where is he going from here? Where is he going with this? Okay, and what's in it for him? Okay, and but above all that, he must know that he has a job to do. The job is to provide leadership and governance, credible governance to Rivers people, not to engage in acts of self-promotion and puerile bravado and muscle flexing and tough talking for the most part are actually totally meaningless. Some of them are you can't even, they're preposterous. You can't even understand the context in there. Using some expressions. And recent times I've heard him use some terms that are far beneath what a governor should utter in his mouth. But that's it. That is what it is.
But Honorable, when you say, earlier you said Governor Fubara came in with the mindset of an emperor. And you would agree with me that some persons might not agree with you, because there was a time the governor was not saying anything. There was a time he was not replying some of the statements thrown out there, or some of the responses from media, several media chats by Minister Wike. Do you not think that it got to a point the governor was pushed to the wall?
Well, I just told you that he has two personas, one for the public, one privately. At the point when he wasn't talking publicly like he's been doing now, he was thundering down privately. And basically, I'm in the position of privilege. So a lot of the things he said, the places where he said them, some of them are my personal friends. Some of them are my associates. I know the things he said in many places. So he was thundering down. Okay, it was just biding his time. It was only a matter of time before he came out in his true element. So it's not correct to say that to try to dispute my assertion that he came out with a premeditated bad faith. No, I don't. I think I was right, because I know a lot more than you on this matter. In any event, I'm not going to say everything I know about it here publicly.
Now let's quickly talk about the peace agreement, otherwise called a political solution. Why was it so hard for this agreement to work? Why did you think, the governor had agreed to this, appended his signature, at a point said nothing is too big to sacrifice for peace in Rivers State, and at the end of the day, this didn't work?
Well, I think, I'm sure you might know already, but the meeting, the settlement was the meeting was at his instance. Okay, he was the one who reached out to the president, and we all went there. I was there myself, And then at no point did he try to question, the terms of the settlement. He accepted everything. And I think, but, in the grand scheme of things, you would agree that he was the biggest beneficiary from that peace agreement, because without that, he could have been history by now, because all the the balance of forces were, okay, yeah, exactly. The balance of forces, was against him. So there was no way he could have escaped the hammer of the legislature. Okay, don't forget that under Section 188 is their job. And like I said earlier, he overestimates his powers. They can remove him, he can remove them. To that extent, they're even his master. Okay, so this agreement was honored more in breach by the governor. I think a day or two after they left Abuja for Port Harcourt, the assembly members immediately withdrew the notice of impeachment served on the governor. But the governor was dragging his feet. It took a while to take even the most basic of steps. I know that the nominating commissioners took a while as well. And then up to today, one of the most momentous times of the settlements was the budget representation. He hasn't done it up to now. And one of the things that riles me. How could a man propose to have an appropriation law, by 4 members in a 32-member house? Even at that time, it was 31. In a 31-member house, how could that happen? How could that happen? They did not have the requisite mandate to sit. That is the quorum. Okay, the law is clear on that. Anything you do when you don't have the powers to sit, like going to court to try to litigate a matter, the first thing you will understand you have to have is you have to have jurisdiction. Okay, subject matter jurisdiction, parties jurisdiction, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then location jurisdiction. If you don't have any of those, or you don't have all 3 of them, you can't even have your matter entertained in court. So in this instance, he brought a budget before 4 persons that had absolutely no mandate to sit. Okay, that is an illegality, an absurdity that is hard to contemplate, let alone see happen. Okay, up till now, he runs a state without a budget. I'm asking, where else could this in this country have been tolerated? So he's cashing in, or tapping into the schisms, the divides of unfortunately tribe and other sentiments in Rivers State to perpetuate this absurdity, this illegality, this unlawful behavior, this out of control behavior. So yes, he basically destroyed the peace agreements, and it speaks to what I said earlier about his about the intentionality of his mindset, to be an emperor from day one, to be an outlaw, to be, someone who sees himself as a ruler, So that's what it is. So,
but how much
unfortunately,
Honorable, how much influence do you think supporters of both men have on them in seeing that this crisis continues to fester? Because I remember Chief Victor Ben, who had called on the governor to shun sycophants and pursue reconciliation with Minister Wike. How much influence do you think the supporters of both men have on them? How has it been so hard for religious leaders, traditional leaders to intervene and settle this matter?
Well, for any matter to be capable of being settled, at least one of the dramatist personnel must be willing to listen. Okay? Let me first speak about the minister. Minister, I think everybody knows, is a stickler for rule of law and due process. I'm not here to praising him, no. But that is the truth. There's no instance, for example, in Rivers State throughout his 8 years where he consciously traduced the rule of law, where he trampled on the rule of law. No, that's not who he is. On the other side is someone like I've shown to you who has no regard for any of those precepts. So those around the governor, unfortunately, a lot of them are people who made Wike their enemies on account of his support for this guy, for Fubara. Okay, so I think one of the first things he did which again lends credence to what I said earlier, was to reach out to them and surround himself with persons, who has declared themselves implacable enemies of Wike. Okay, so in that company, what would he hear? What would he hear? The former governor has shown, commendable and verifiable willingness, okay, to settle, to talk to him. There have been 1 or 2 meetings in Port Harcourt I was privy to. I wasn't there, but I was privy to those meetings, and I recall that the elders, reached certain agreements with Wike and Fubara. Fubara made promises, none of which he fulfilled. So it's a situation that he, with all sense of seriousness, that he created. He created it. I think, like I said, he was purposive in the way he came out from the get-go to try and overthrow the previous order and enthrone one in which he will be the overlord. But he hasn't got the nous or the know-how to go about it. He hasn't got it. That's the truth. Like I said, talk alone can't do it. Yep.
Honorable, isn't it worrisome that the PDP continues to look at both men, continue with this crisis? Because I remember that in April, Governor Fubara and Minister Wike were both at the National Caucus meeting. But I might be wrong, because this meeting went on like everything is normal. But there are 2 men at that meeting who are at each other's throats while the grass suffers.
Please, you have to repeat that. I'm sorry.
Did you get my question?
Okay, please. Can you say that again?
I said it's
say it again,
worrisome
please.
because
I didn't get
Nigerians
that.
are wondering. Right. Nigerians are wondering why the PDP, this is the party where both men belong, why the PDP has, just been looking like everything is normal. Because I remember that in April, Governor Fubara and Minister Wike were both attended the PDP National Caucus meeting. So, I wanted to know if that crisis was a matter at that meeting, because it looks like the party is just watching these 2 men go at each other while the grass suffers. And that's the people of River State.
Well, I don't think it's quite like that. I am aware that the party at some point, he himself, I told you his style is, one of aloofness. He had made himself up until the time when we went for the last NEC meeting, or maybe shortly before that. He had made himself also unapproachable to PDP leadership. I know persons in the national office who told me that the governor was not reachable, and when this crisis started, reached out to him to come to them. He never did. They said instead he went somewhere else. He went to the president for the settlements, which, like I said, he has breached egregiously. So I don't think that the PDP is at fault if there has been no. There has been, some degree of reluctance to meet both parties. I would assume they have made some attempts, but the governor was at the very beginning unwilling. He sought solace somewhere else. So that's what I'll say.
All right. Honorable Bob, let's go on a break. And